Hey, second grade, it's Mr. Driscoll in the music room, bringing you your first weekly music video. This year it's a little different, and you don't get to come down to the music room for class this year, but we still get to be together to make music, sing songs, dance, read stories, all of those things when you watch these videos from home. So, this week we're going to talk a little bit about second grade and see what you remember from first grade. So in second grade music, it's one of my favorite times of the year because by the end of this year, you will be writing your own songs. So you will be what's called a composer. That's a person who makes music. You'll have notes on a staff that look like any other music you've ever seen, and you could take that song to anyone who reads music, anyone who plays an instrument, who sings, and they would be able to perform your song. But in order to do that, we have to remember a few things from last year from first grade. And so that's why I've got the smart board up here. That's why it's a little dark on the screen because I have the lights off in the room so that you can see the smart board better. So we're going to adjust the screen a little bit here so that you can see the whole screen. And we're going to do a couple things together. So the first thing is we need to remember what notes look like. So in first grade, we had a few kinds of notes that we'd worked with. One of them was called a quarter note. And a quarter note had a few parts. It had two parts. One part was called the head, which looked like a circle that was filled in. So a quarter note had a filled in head and it had a stem that went up. And a quarter note could also flip upside down. So we could have the head and the stem coming down. So that was the first time. I hope you remembered that one. We spent a lot of time with quarter notes last year. Then we also had what were called eighth notes. And eighth notes had two heads, two filled in circles, two filled in heads, two stems, and they were connected by a beam that ran across them. Eighth notes. And we had one other kind of note, but it looked a little different. It was called the quarter rest. And the quarter rest was kind of a mixture of a Z and a C. And I don't draw the quarter rests very well. If you remember, we kind of laughed, and it looks a little bit like a lightning bolt with a C on the bottom. So a quarter rest had a Z and a C. If you can remember these three kinds of notes, you're going to be off to a good start. So I'm going to go to this screen, which seems very appropriate for the start of the school year with all of these leaves. And I'm looking for the quarter notes. Now, I can touch the smartboard because I'm here in the classroom. You can't touch your screen to make the quarter notes, but you're going to help me a little bit. So what I want to look for on this board are the filled in heads and a stem. So I can see right here on this one, I have a filled in head and a stem. So if I touch it with the pointer, that leaf will go away. So I want to look for some more quarter notes on this screen. So let's see, if I look over here, this one is kind of on its side, but I have a filled in head and a stem, and it went away. But what if I came over to this one? This one looks weird because it has not a filled in head, because I can see all the way through it. If I try to click on that, oh no, it spun, it got very angry. That is not a quarter note. But if I come over here, oh my gosh, it's a filled in head and a stem. I'm going to press it and make that note disappear. There are a few more quarter notes on this page, but I want to move on to trying to find a different set of notes. So now I want to find the quarter rests. That was our Z and our C. So that right here, this one's, oh, that's a quarter note. It has the filled in head and the stem. If I press it, it's not going anywhere. But if you saw, I accidentally clicked on the leaf that was right here that had a quarter rest. So we can see it's kind of sideways, but it's our Z and our C, and there it goes. Quarter note, it won't go anywhere. That new note that had the open circle that we could see through it, it won't go anywhere. Let's see. Oh, I found another quarter rest. It's upside down, but if I tap it, it goes away. Now we have one more screen over here with more leaves, but this time we're going to look for these notes where they have a head that I can see through and a stem. These are called half notes. Half notes. And these are new. We did not talk about these in first grade. We are learning new things already in second grade. So if I click on this half note where I can see through the head, let the screen catch up so you can see it, it flies away. But if I tap on this quarter note, nope, doesn't go anywhere. This half note next to it disappears. So it's really important that we try to remember all these different types of notes. We had quarter notes, half notes, quarter rests, eighth notes. We're back here on this screen where I drew them, and I'm going to now add the half note. So it had the open circle and a stem. That is our half note. I will see you next week for our next video in music class. But before you click away, if you scroll down below this video, you will see a few boxes. One of them asks you to type your name, and the next box asks if you remembered our different kinds of notes. You'll pick yes or no. I hope the answer was yes. And then you'll hit submit. That way I can see that you did our video this week. I will see you next week for more music.